The Networks, a game about TV stations. In this game, you are the producer, the leader, the boss of a TV station that is starting as a small enterprise, a small public access TV, and you're trying to develop it into a major TV station. To do so, you will need to hire stars, develop interesting programs, land the best ads, and so on and so forth. Mechanically, this is a tableau making game, and you know that this is the case when most of what you will do in the game is simply to acquire new cards that you will place in your area. You will need to spend money to do so. Money is represented by these nice chits here. Each player will have a player aid, such as this one, that you use to create your lineup. Your player aid has 3 slots, 8, 9, and 10. We're not concerned about what's going on in the morning in your TV show, only about nighttime. And so these are the areas where we will place the TV shows that you're developing. The green room, where you place resources such as stars or ads that you have acquired but you're not using yet. Reruns, you can only have 3 shows going on at a time. When your lineup is full and you want to add a new one, you take an active one, you turn it upside down, and you add it here to the reruns area. And then at the end of the season, the reruns go into the archives, where they do not score anymore, not immediately. They may be worth points at the end of the game. So each turn represents a season, and the game lasts 5 seasons. The core idea is super simple. Each turn/season, there will be a number of cards that will be available. The cards come from several decks: stars, seasons representing the available TV shows, ads, and then starting from season 2, you also have network cards that will give you several advantages. And again, the majority of the actions that you can take in the game is simply to take a card, pay for it, and add it to your play area. The stars, and each turn you will have a new lineup. That is, you will draw several cards from each deck. You will form a line, so you will have a line of stars, a line of TV shows, a line of ads available, and players will draw those, will take those, not draw blindly, and add them to their area. Again, sometimes paying, sometimes if you land an ad, actually you get money. Stars. When you get a star, you need to pay the number indicated there. So some stars are much more expensive than others. And the numbers that you see here indicate how much value the star adds to your show. We'll talk about that later. Suppose that in my green room I have hired these 2 stars. They are there for now. They don't do anything yet. They're waiting for me to develop a show where they can work. Another thing is ads. When you get an ad, you actually score points. That is, actually you gain money. So you immediately gain the money that you see here, and then you place the card in your green room, and you can add it to a TV show later. Some cards, however, may have to be rotated, and they're worth less money when they're rotated. And when they're rotated, it indicates the fact that you are showing the ads in a time slot which is not the best one for that ad. For example, when you're advertising tacos, it really should be at 8 p.m. when people are still hungry and they want a taco. And if you're showing it in any other slot that is not 8 p.m., the ad is only worth 1 million per turn, as opposed to 2 million if you're showing it at 8. Let's say this is another ad that I have. And network cards will simply give you extra benefits. You follow the icons. Well, for now, for this general introduction to the game, trust me, this is what network cards do. You draw one, and it's good for you, and it gives you stuff. Another thing that you want to do, really a very important action, is to develop TV shows. You start with a lineup. Each TV station has an initial set of cards of resources, which includes a ridiculous star, a ridiculous ad, and 3 super ridiculous TV shows. Just look at the art and the name of the TV show. Yes, there is a lot of humor in these cards. It's fun to see, you know, the absolutely low quality public access TV shows that you have early on. There's a lot of satire, there are a lot of nods, not just to pop culture in the later cards, but this is the idea. You start with these ones that are not very valuable and you replace them later with better ones. Season 1, the available ones will be available from this deck here. Again, not only some of these will be drawn face up to form a line, players will develop those, the remaining ones are discarded and then replaced by Season 2 and then Season 3 and so on and so forth. To develop a TV show, you need to pay the cost that you see there, in the top left. Also, the show has an indication here of the best slot. This is when the TV show really fulfills its potential, gets the most viewers, when you should try to show that show. At the bottom of the show, you have icons indicating requirements. To show this, to develop this TV show, I need at least an ad. For this one, I need at least a star. This one actually means, when it's gray, it means it's optional. That is, I may have a star or I may have an ad or neither. This one, Quiver, one of my favorite superhero TV shows, Quiver needs a star and may take a second star or an ad. Flea, Broken Worse takes a star and possibly something else. Just look at the Tiny Pop Hypothesis, a comedy that I used to like, but then as time went by, I started to find it a little bit meh. Dr. Watt, classic. Yeah, I'm trying to give you a sense of the humor that goes on here. Really fun stuff. To develop a TV show, you purchase it from the line of the available ones and you put it in one of your available slots, possibly the one indicated there. The icon on top indicates the genre. If your station specializes in a certain genre, so becomes recognizable, you're branding yourself in a recognizable way, that's good. So if you develop 3 TV shows of a certain genre, you get a bonus. If you develop 5, you get another bonus. In any case, when you develop a show, you buy it and you attach the required things to it. So in this case, I have an ad and I can develop it and I put it like this so that only this part is visible, because that indicates how much the ad will make me at the end of the turn, when we score at the end of the turn. Suppose, just to give you a sense, I suppose that I have developed Quiver, right? Then I'm gonna also add a star. When you add a star, same thing, you put it there so that only this band is visible, and I also want an ad, so I'm gonna use this ad here. So this would be a nicely developed TV show. Once you develop a TV show, you put a cube on it. Now you can see that there are 2 numbers there. These numbers in general indicate how many viewers the TV show generates in each season. This line indicates season 1, 2, 3, and 4. Actually, the show can stay for longer, but then the value of season 4 is what is scored in further rounds. There are 2 numbers on top. The number on the left is the number of viewers that you score if you are placing that TV show in the best time slot for it. So Quiver at 9 will score me 9 million viewers. If I put in any other slot, it's only 6. At the end of the turn, also the show's age, and so you move this down. And usually second season is the one that scores the most. Hooray! And then after season 2, well, things usually start going down. If you have stars attached, then the number in that line is added to the number of viewers, because of course the presence of the star 2 attracts viewers. So this show in season 2 would be worth 16 million viewers for me. At the end of the round, when you're scoring the viewers, you also need to take expenses into account. These red numbers here are the upkeep cost, keeping that show on and keeping that. So the show cost me this much, cost me 2 million. At least the cost is refracted by the fact that I'm also making $1 million there. So back to the actions that you can perform. Sign a star, land an ad, take a network card. We talked about those. Develop the show. I just showed you how that works. Attach a star or an ad. It may be that you did develop a show and then later you want to attach more stuff to it. Then you take an action to do so. Drop and budget. That's when you get out of the turn and you look at this player aid here. There are various player aids, various copies, and you use the one that applies to the number of players that you have. There is one for each possible number of players in the game. That also tells you the number of cards of each type that you use. But when you are dropping out of the game, you place your own marker on the leftmost available space on this track here. So for example, if I'm the first player to drop out of this turn, I can then get the benefit that I see here, which is either 5 million viewers or 10 million. Second player to drop, 8 millions or 3 viewers, and so on and so forth. So you drop and budget, you drop out of the game, you gain that out of the game for that season, you gain that advantage, and the season is over. Well, you do need to do a little bit of upkeep, that is to score viewers, to take costs into account, to age your show, to discard all of the ad stars and available TV shows that were still there, draw new ones to replenish the play area, and repeat like that, starting with the next season. Again, get stuff, develop shows, replace them, score shows. At the end of the season, you're also scoring your reruns. But as I said earlier, when you take a TV show out from your main lineup and you turn it into a rerun, you turn it upside down, and so now you're only scoring that reduced value there. At the end of the game, at the end of season 5, after you're done scoring season 5, you age your shows and you score again. That seems kind of redundant. You're scoring twice on the same TV shows at the end of the game. But remember, you age the shows between the scoring of season 5 and the final official scoring. That means that the aging of the show also matters. If your show dropped dramatically between season 5 and when it ages and other players' shows didn't go down as much, of course that gives them a considerable advantage in terms of points there. Points are viewers. So at the end of the game you score, by which I mean you count all of the viewers that you get from your various sources. There may also be network cards that score at the end of the game. For example, this one. You can pause to see the effect. And once you have collected all of your viewers from all possible sources, the player with the most viewers is the winner of the game. Conclusions. The art and the theme are very amusing. There's a lot of humor here, a lot of fun references to pop culture, to TV culture. But of course, that is not enough. I mean, a book of satire only needs to make you smile once, and that's all it needs to do. In a board game, well, you will want to be able to play the design more than once, and after the first time or two that you play the game, the humor will wear off and the design will remain. So very enjoyable humor, but that is not going to be the main element for you in the game if you keep playing it past, say, the second time. So how about the design? How about the game? I find it to be a good one. I find it to be enjoyable. Very light, very simple, maybe even too light for some. The game is about to buy something and put it in your play area, and that's 90% of the game. Physically, mechanically, of course, there is the entire strategy of how to do that effectively and more effectively than other players do. I thought about strategy, but really there is a very strong tactical feel because the resources are available for such a short span of time. What's out this season is not gonna be there next season. I do not know much about the behind the scene of how TV networks work, but it feels pretty thematic. It feels that time goes very fast. You know, a single year is like 10 years in TV time, and so the resources that are there this year will be completely worthless next year. You will not need them anymore. Nobody will want them. So I like the fact that you can plan ahead a little bit, but you really have to react to what is available there, to the stars, the ads, and the TV shows that maybe acquired this season. This being said, there is some planning ahead. Maybe all of your TV shows right now are on their second season. They are paying off a lot. You're receiving a lot of stuff. You want to keep them as they are until the end of the term, so you're not going to replace one of them this season. So you're gonna build up some resources. Maybe you save some money, you get some nice new stars, and you get some new ads, etc., etc. Maybe you get a network card. So you prepare yourself for next turn slash season, when you will want to replace some of your TV shows whose ratings are plummeting all of a sudden. And this being said, maybe after that nice round of preparation, next turn there will not be anything that really appeals to you. There will be other considerations, so the players will grab all the TV shows that you want. So you can plan a little bit ahead, but ultimately you always have to react to the unpredictable mix of resources that will be available. I really like how those resources are both plentiful and scarce within the same turn. At the beginning, whoa, so many new shows and stars and everything, and of course as soon as people start grabbing stuff, you're like, wait a second, where did everything go? So those resources go down very quickly. They shrink very quickly as people are elbowing to grab the best stuff, or at least the stuff that is best for them at the present time, based on what we have and what they're trying to develop. So the game can, and I think should, flow very well and at a good pace. I grab the card, you go, okay, I'll get that card, etc., etc. Of course, there is a possibility, since the information is open, what's available to everybody is open, what everybody is broadcasting is open, what everybody will be making next turn in terms of audience is available. There definitely is a possibility for analysis paralysis. Know your players, know the player you're playing the game with, because I think some players will just be begging to be strangled when they start trying to count every point and what everybody will be doing in 3 turns and what each card will score combined with each other card. Just don't invite those players to play the networks. Play games with hidden information with them, so that murder is not committed that game night. It should and can flow smoothly. You should play with players that appreciate, go intuitively, go with your guts and get a card. You know why? Because it's flipping fun to get that card, and that's it. And maybe it'll score a couple of fewer viewers at the end, but it will have fun. So try not to play with obsessive compulsive players, and this is a game that will move fast. They will have some interesting levels of decisions while remaining very, very light, very linear. It has a space of decision thanks to all the options that you have, of things that you can acquire, things that you can upgrade, choosing when to retire something to get something else. There are definitely a lot of interesting decisions that can emerge from here, and that are built around such a simple, basic engine that, again, get something, add it to your tableau, and see what happens next. So very simple engine, very nice space of decisions, very fun art, very nice components, definitely a good product. Again, with some danger in there if you play with players that are into analysis paralysis, but other than that, I wouldn't blame the design for this. Designs that have a lot of public information have that risk, but again, don't blame the design. Blame the friends, maybe yourself, because you invited that person. You knew that person would do that. Why did you ask them to play the networks? The networks is a simple, fun tableau game. The theme is fun. The implementation of the theme is fun. The pace of the game is engaging. And the game flies by, again, with the right people. The game flies by. Each season will not last much and will just leave you with the desire for a little bit more. But it's a good thing, not in the sense of like, oh, there isn't enough in this game. It's more like, oh, I wanted to do more stuff. Look at those all great resources that were available. Maybe next season I'll be able to do something more. And so you have that feeling of like, I want a little bit more, which is productive. interactive, which is the kind of like feeling that keeps you involved in the game and keeps you wanting to play it, and one more season, because you think the next season things will go just the way you want them, and they never do. And again, in certain games that is frustrating. In nice games that are well designed, that becomes a reason of interest, and this is a game where that works. You will want always one more season, you'll always be short of one resource, so you will have the resources and you will not have the right show you want to spend them on. So there is that nice sense of a lot of options, and yet you always wanting to look for something slightly better than you can actually acquire, which creates a nice tension there. The Networks, simple, fun, linear, fun theme. Definitely a good game.